Why is the Titanic known as never sinking? But during the first voyage, it hit an iceberg and sank on the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean in a very short time. More than 1,000 people were killed. GSYS, and behind all this, GSYS is an artificial negligence. The ship itself has fatal problems. As the largest in the world at that time, the most luxurious passenger freighter with internal facilities, the Titanic is 269 meters long, 28 meters wide, 7 weighing 46,000 tons. There are 16 watertight compartments inside it. It is also equipped with the most advanced automatic waterproof gate at that time. This will prevent the invasion of seawater when the cruise ship is damaged. At the same time, in order to ensure the solidity and safety of the entire hull, the hull also uses more than 2,000 pieces of 3 centimeters thick steel plate overlapping connection. It is also fixed with more than 30,000 rivets. But because these rivets are made of iron, it becomes extremely fragile at low temperatures. 900 thus laid a safety hazard on this dream giant ship. 74 On April 14, 1912, Titanic carries more than 2,000 tourists. Turn on its first voyage. But what is unexpected is, just 4 days later, this giant ship hit the iceberg and sank at an extremely fast speed. Red Bean Foodbotic. But the problem is, as early as the beginning of the design of the Titanic, the engineer conducted various hull impact tests. Even if an accident occurs, it is also necessary to break through at least the first 6 watertight compartments to make the ship sink. So, why is it like this floating ice? But it can defeat the most advanced passenger ship at that time so quickly. First, the Titanic is traveling very fast on the sea. There are 29 boiler systems inside, to power 2 steam engines, plus a new set of turbine engines, can provide more than 45,000 horsepower. This drives the giant ship at a speed of 43 kilometers per hour, navigating rapidly on a dark and cold ocean. Second, although the height of the observation deck can reach 27 meters, enable the lookout to reach 19 kilometers during the day, you can discover the iceberg in the distance at the first time. Even the night is accompanied by the moonlight. Lower icebergs below sea level are still visible. Once there is no light on the sea, rely on the cruise ship's own lighting equipment only. Icebergs can only be discovered at very close distances. So when the crew finds the iceberg, leave it to the Titanic, who is sailing at full speed. The time to hide is less than 1 minute, although the captain immediately ordered to turn to the left. However, due to the lack of sensitivity in the control equipment at that time, even though the bow escaped, but it hit the iceberg on the side, and in shock and cold climates, disconnect the rivets of the hull in an instant, and tore a huge hole. The 4 watertight tanks were directly torn. After, the sea water broke through the gap and poured into the cabin, make the bow begin to sink continuously. But strangely, at that time, there were as many as 16 watertight cabins inside the entire hull. Why did it completely sink to the bottom of the sea after just over 2 hours? At first, this problem has plagued researchers. Until September 1985, a scientific research team composed of France and the United States, 3,600 meters deep in the southern waters of Newfoundland. After discovering the remains of the Titanic and conducting research, the truth comes to light. As a luxury passenger ship at that time, Titanic needs large open space, come as a dance hall or restaurant. So sacrifice was made in the design of the watertight compartment. It does not go straight to the top. There is a certain amount of space left in the west. When the hull is tilted, it will cause the seawater to continue to surge to the next watertight compartment. Even though the crew members used the pump to pump water out, it's not enough to catch up with the speed of water irrigation in Shanghai. As the bow becomes heavier, make the entire passenger ship slowly rise from the sea. The heavy hull, the Titanic broke from the middle and in half. Finally, the front and rear sections sank into the seabed one after another. That is to say, if the watertight compartment at that time could completely block the invasion of seawater. So, it is entirely possible that the Titanic will drift on the sea for several days and have enough time to wait for rescue. Only more than 700 people survived on the Titanic. The rest include the world's richest man at that time, 1,517 tourists including Astor IV, burial in the sea,